Welcome to the December 9th, 2025 Gloucester City Council meeting. This public meeting of the City Council is recorded on Zoom with a link that is posted on the agenda. If you are calling in on a phone, you can press *9 to speak. If you are watching on a computer or device, there is a raised hand button that you can tap or press to request to speak. Please use either of these options during oral communications and public hearings to be recognized to speak. Technical difficulties arise and the Zoom link is interrupted during an in-person hybrid meeting of the City Council and a quorum is present. The meeting may continue after efforts have been made to reestablish the link. The meeting shall note the interruption. It is the finding of the City of Gloucester that no individual should be denied equal treatment or opportunity because of their age, ancestry, color, disability, including intellectual and developmental mental disability, family status, immigration status, gender identity or expression, military status, marital status, national origin, race, religion, sex, or sexual orientation. This evening we have with us Ward 2 Councilor Dylan Benson, Councilor at Large Valerie Gilman, Ward 4 Councilor Frank Majota, Ward 1 Councilor Scott Memard.
Good evening.
Councilor at Large Jeff Worthley. And Ward 3 Councilor Marjorie Grace. Councilor at Large. Councilor at Large Jason Grow. And Council Vice President, Ward 5 Councilor Sean Nolan, and I am Council President Tony Gross, Councilor at Large. And this evening we have with us, we have Dominique Hurley, Director of the Health Department, Connor Williamson from the Health Department, Catherine Schlichty, our CAO, Kathy Clancy, Chairman of the School Committee, and Grace Poirier, our City Clerk. Very good. All right. And this evening we flag salute led by Marjorie Grace.
United States of America. Republic. One nation. God.
We will now have a moment of silence for Anne Margaret Ferrante. Dear friend, and it's a true loss for the city. Thank you. Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
Oral communications.
Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak under oral communications? Seeing up. Name and address for the record, please. Not on. Turn it on.
Barnaby Prendergast, 61 Fernald Street. I just very quickly want to express gratitude to Jeff and Mayor Verga, and particularly to Val for the service to the city. Val in particular has been a great help to me over the past few years. There's a Chinese philosopher, Lao Tzu, who said, if you care about what people think, you will always be their prisoner. And that's something I try to live by a little bit and not take too much criticism, but I'm very definitely Val's prisoner, and I'm gladly so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Kathy Clancy, 78 High Popples Road. I could not let my friend Val, my longtime friend Val, retire from the City Council without coming to express my support and thanks. I am an elected official because of Val, twisting my arm many years ago. And so she's been my colleague. She had great leadership on the school committee, so she was a great role model for me and a mentor. She's been my city councilor at large. She's helped me on issues like that, and we've become really, really good friends. And I could not think of a better person to have represented the city of Gloucester than her. She has led with warmth and grace and dedication. I know no one who works harder than my friend Val on city business, and she loves the city dearly. She handles open meeting law and governance. I mean, she adheres to all of your protocols, and as tough as that is sometimes as a city, as an elected official, we do have, open meeting law and rules that we need to follow so that things move along. And so I have a lot of empathy for all of you. Sometimes it can be difficult to, stick to the business and have a lot of noise at the same time, but Val has handled all of this with utmost professionalism and just the warmth that Val exudes. She is probably one of the best listeners I've ever observed, always with an open mind on any topic. She meets with some of the most difficult people and still comes away, I think, having them feel heard and representing this city really well, that there is a person they can go to that has listened to their concerns. I also wanted to thank her, even though I'm probably not a recipient of many of the mutt mitts, but Val has handled the mutt mitt distribution and led that whole charge now for 11 years. And those of us who have dogs appreciate it. And I think it's one of the unknown things of the many things that she does behind the scenes without looking for accolades in any of it. So I appreciate you. I appreciate everything you've done in this particular role and your role on the school committee, and all that you will continue to do to make this city a better place. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Anyone else in the audience? Hey, online, we have Mary Ann Boucher.
Good evening, Mary Ann Albert Boucher, 93 Mount Pleasant Avenue. I too have come on to this meeting this evening because I wanted to take a moment to recognize Jeff Worthley, Val Gilman, and Mayor Greg Verga for their years of service as city council members and/or the mayoral position. I've been to my fair share of meetings, and while we may not have always agreed on issues, I fully respect the hard work and dedication of these three individuals. Thank you for your service, and I do wish you all the best in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
Consent agenda.
Anyone wish to remove anything off the consent agenda? I would like to remove number 5. Oh, confirmation of new appointment. Oh, we do. Oh, sorry, Barnaby. You'll have to wait till the end now. Oh. Tough luck. Go ahead. No, confirmation of new appointments. Counselor Nolan.
So we'd like to bring up for the Affordable Housing Trust, Barnaby Prendergast. Barnaby, would you like to have a few words of full counsel to explain yourself for everybody?
Sure. Barnaby Prendergast, 61 Fernald Street. I am very interested in the housing discussion. It's a subject that's very close to my heart. I have spent a fair amount of time advocating for housing in Gloucester in general, as both as a private individual and as a representative of the core group of Housing for All Gloucester. I don't think anybody is reasonably denying that we have some major housing issues in Gloucester, and that affordable housing is a particularly serious problem, both for newcomers and for existing Gloucester residents. And as such, I really hope that I will be able to be give some positive contributions to the Affordable Housing Trust, and help promote the work that they do and seek grants, and help make Gloucester a friendly place for affordable housing projects to come and succeed. If anybody has any questions, I can carry on like this for hours. I've talked to you all before about housing, and I think you all know that I'm quite committed to it. But I don't want to bore you by repeating the things that I've said over and over again already. So,
Excellent, Barnaby. Is there any council questions or comments? We'll start with Councilor Benson.
Thank you. Just actually one question to the chair. So will Barnaby have to leave his other board? So I know he's on the Clean Energy Commission.
He
Okay.
has already, he says he's already resigned.
I wasn't, when I was
It's
listening.
not,
'Cause
they changed the charter
okay.
last time. You guys changed it. So you could be on two boards at the same time, but Barnaby chose to resign his other
Okay.
position.
Well, Barnaby, your commitment to a cleaner Gloucester, I know will continue beyond that. But one question for you is, and I know you have such a commitment to the affordability crisis that we're facing here locally. What is one thing that you think the Affordable Housing Trust, could do in the future to help, for example, first-time home buyers, young people that say first generation to own a home type of thing?
there are mechanisms available to help people with down payments. The community development block grants, I think, make provision for some of those. The money from short-term rentals that goes towards the Affordable Housing Trust, as well as the CPA grants, and I'm probably forgetting other sources of revenue, but these exist, and I do know that there are other communities on the North Shore that do help help provide deposits basically for people's mortgages. Gloucester, well, in fact, most of the North Shore has serious problems with the actual numbers that are involved, because with the median house, single family house costing around $700,000 at the moment, even a 20% deposit is $140,000 a year, and a grant that size would be everything that we currently receive from short-term rental taxation, for example. But there are novel ways and existing ways of making first-time ownership more affordable, more reachable. Co-ownership is an option that we don't seem to have explored very much as an institution, where one institution maintains an interest in a property, and the first-time buyer buys a share and pays a small amount of rent for the share that they don't own. I don't know how much research has been done into that here, but I do know there are other places that do it. So there's potential for increasing the availability of options to people.
Excellent. Thank you, Barnaby. Councilor Grow.
I just want to thank you, Barnaby, for stepping up to this role. It's an important one, and I'm well familiar with your passion about housing. I think one of the things that's really great about you is that you do your work. You don't leave things to chance. You dive into understanding the details, and you bring receipts when you come to a discussion. And if someone corrects you, or if you have learned something new, you don't dismiss that. You incorporate it into the conversation. And I just think that you're going to be a great addition to the Affordable Housing Trust. And I thank you for stepping up.
Thank you.
Any other councilors? I see Councilor Val Gilman.
So one of the things that I've always appreciated is Barnaby's great knowledge of all the different laws that back up our decisions. And when people are challenging the rules and the laws, he immediately gets a link and explains it factually. And I think that's a really good quality. And it's appreciated, it's noticed. Some people don't like doing social media at all, but when a lot of the folks that are the ones that are just having a hard time understanding it or agreeing with it, you're there being patient and really helping. So I will be supporting this as soon as I don't think we've made a motion yet, but thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Worthley.
Thank you, Councilor Nolan. Barnaby, I just want to say I'm thrilled that you're stepping up to do this. You are a fresh voice and you bring a great perspective. And I remember you discussing your path to home ownership and the challenges. So you have such empathy and appreciation for the struggles that people have. So I know you put your all into everything. I'm looking forward to your hard work and making a positive difference. Thank you, Barnaby.
Thank you too.
Excellent. Councilman Hard.
Congratulations for stepping up to this opportunity, Barnaby. In a sense, it's a bit bittersweet because I understand that Larry Oakes, because of his conflicts of residency in New York City right now, is stepping away, and he's somebody in the profession who was making a real contribution the last couple of years. And I'm hoping that you will help fill that gap and carry on the banner that Larry has led, and consult and lean on him for his knowledge as well in this position. Thank you.
I will be hounding Larry.
Any other counselors? All right, Barnaby, I met you, I think 4 or 5 years ago, and you've been a bright light in my life. And someone that I could relate to on all levels, being a blue collar worker, someone that cares about the community and doesn't mind putting other people first as long as you have what you need to get along. This is a perfect role for you. And this is actually the perfect time. If you look around the auditorium right now, you're looking at a wonderful situation that Councilor Grow has done for our veterans. Affordable housing isn't just about people young and in need and trying to get something. It's about people that have sacrificed for their country. It's about our elderly that have born and raised here and try to find the means to stay here. And affordability is a tough issue. Gloucester is a very desirable place to live, but we have to be forced to find ways around it to make affordable housing the foremost part of what we do in the next 2 years. And a lot of this will come by with combined properties of city property, working situations with like Harbor Light Homes, and trying to find the money that we have best to serve all these projects. But with Jason Grown, what he's done here, which is beautiful again tonight, I can't say that 100%. There's people up here right now that I know that are still struggling to stay in Gloucester. And they have given everything to be where they are. And I think that you're the right man to be in this position. And I can't thank you enough for stepping up for this. Thank you.
Thank you.
With that being said, I'd like to read the motion. On a motion by Councilor Gray, seconded by Councilor Gross, the Ordinance Administration Committee voted 3 in favor, 0 opposed to recommend the City Council appoint Barnaby Prendergast to the Affordable Housing Trust, term to end 2/15/2027, and I so move.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Nolan, seconded by Counselor Grow. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, 9-0. Thank you so much, Barnaby, for stepping up.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Carry on. Okay, next we're at the consent agenda, or back to the consent agenda. Nobody wanted to take anything off. I said I do want to take off item number 5. Memorandum from the Director of Public Health regarding upcoming septic compliance efforts. Anyone else?
Barnaby?
All right, I'll accept a motion to,
Move to adopt the consent agenda
So moved.
minus number 5.
motion made by Counselor Worthley, seconded by Counselor Gilman. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. I pulled off number 5 because we were going to get a brief presentation from the Health Department on the septic compliance efforts that they are embarking upon, and that many of our constituents are getting letters, so we may hear about this.
Thanks.
It is in our packet if you want to follow along.
Yeah, thanks, counselors, for having us here today. I want to introduce the Assistant Sanitarian, Connor Williamson. As you know, I really like to help you all get to know my team. I have a fabulous team, and Connor's been working really hard on this, so a lot of the details and questions, I'm going to refer to him, but I'd like to provide you with an overview of what we're doing. When I joined the department about 2.5 years ago, I walked into an office that was full of paper boxes and lots of files stuffed under desks. And through the course of my tenure, we've slowly worked to the place where we have filing cabinets with a plan for digitization and all of those paper files, which were unattended to compliance documentation surrounding septic systems for the most part, completely buttoned up and known. And when I queried into why we weren't doing it at the time, the current sanitarian and understandably had no time to get to it. And over the course of the years in our city, if you look through the septic files, you'll find a letter, somebody saying you must do this, but nothing ever happened and nobody ever followed up. So the department had traditionally been understaffed in this area. And if you remember a few fiscal years ago when I came for my first budget, I brought that up to you and you gave me the ability to hire Connor. And so Connor's been working on that since he joined a year ago today. So, and it's been hard work. It has not been easy. And I wanted to provide a quick overview of what we're doing. And I want to start with, because I know this is also public record and people might listen to the recording, why do we need to pump a septic system? So a septic system, water leaves your home from flushing the toilet, running down the sink. It comes down into a holding tank, which allows any solids to settle to the bottom and any fats and grease to settle to the top. And that allows the black water sort of to move through down a pipe into a field that allows the water to soak through the ground. And depending upon the volume of water and the kind of ground you have, that determines the size of that field. There's another little piece called the distribution box that helps the water move properly through the leach-in field. And the water then soaks through the ground and soil, replenishes our groundwater, but also very important that by the time it hits our groundwater, it's clean and good to go, right? If that doesn't happen, it can pool up and run off, and it can back up into homes. And there's a lot of elements of a septic system that are pretty fascinating, such as a biome that forms on that leaching field that eats all the bad stuff and lets only the water trickle through. So it's really important in a septic system that you design it properly, that you build it properly, and that you maintain it properly. And the challenge that we have in the city of Gloucester, as you can see from the memo that I sent you all, is that a lot of residents don't necessarily understand why it's important to maintain. And so this effort is a local regulation backed by Title V. Title V recommends every 3 to 5 years unless you have a garbage disposal, and then they recommend every year. A lot of folks don't know about it. Through our process with rental registry, people, we're calling them up saying you can't advertise that many bedrooms. You have a septic system. They're saying, no, I don't. I don't have a septic system. So people don't know they have septic systems. They don't understand what's maintained. And what we've been trying to do in this year, while Connor gets all the ducks in the row, and I'll let him talk a little bit about what he's done, is we've been focusing heavily on education. So if you're tracking against the city website, you've seen a lot of posts that are talking about you have to, pump your septic system. We sent out a general mailer with a muddy puppy saying, it's not okay to have mud in the middle of your yard for no reason. It's a sign of an issue. And so we've been trying consistently to educate people. A lot of what we've also done while Connor's pulling together who is not compliant historically is handling all of the current process. So as people's homes a function check is performed on a property, and if we get data that shows that that property has an issue, well, Connor's job is to contact that property owner, explain the problem, help them understand their options, and move to resolution. It's a really important role that you all have funded. And while that is going on, he's also been doing the work to assemble a perspective. So I want to hand it over to Connor quickly to catch you up on what he's done, to give you a sense of the amount of effort that's gone into it. We feel pretty confident that we have identified those septic systems that are non-compliant, given the information we have. So let me just hand it over to Connor, who can catch you up on what he's done to get to this point.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm Connor Williamson, the Assistant Title V Inspector. It's great to meet some of you and also see some of you. A quick overview of this project is when I had started, we had one main database that had what we thought at that time was a complete set of data. Over the few months that I'd been there, it went from, oh, this is the complete set of data to, oh, actually, there's an old database that wasn't touched before for 5 years ago that has also pertinent data. Oh, engineering has this data that they captured that wasn't being communicated because there wasn't that person to receive it anymore. So over the past 10 months, we have systematically gone through all available data to us via paper files, electronic files, multiple databases, and the online GIS map geo layer of what is a septic system, as well as sewer bills, and cross-referenced everything to get a very high confident list of what other septic systems that we have in town, as well as those records behind them. So the local regulation is that you need to have a pump out every 3.5 years. And we have 966 properties in the city of Gloucester right now that are non-compliant with that issue, mainly in Woods 1, Wood 5, 1 and 5-2, due to the lack of sewer connection in those regions. There's a much higher amount of septic systems, which leads to that increase of non-compliance. So my job has been going through extracting that data, cross-referencing it, and then sending these letters and getting everyone educated.
And so what are those letters? The first letter that's going out is a notice of noncompliance. That's letting folks know that we believe their septic system is noncompliant. Here's the law. Please schedule a function check within the next 90 days and give us a call. Let us know when that is so that we can, know that you're taken care of and you have full disposition. And a few letters follow if people don't take that action within the time frame. We're going to follow up with an order to correct, a little bit more official, sending out certified mail, requiring them to perform this function check or appear before the Board of Health, who has fully authorized this both in our regulations as well as via vote in meetings discussing it. And finally, if they don't take action at that point, they will appear before the Board of Health at our request and have the opportunity at that point to speak to the board about why they are unwilling or have not taken action at this point. And the board can at that point order them to do a Title V, as is their right, order them to have a function check and can fine as well. Our goal, of course, is not to fine people for noncompliance. Our goal is to educate, to help them understand, and to bring them into compliance. So that's the process that will unfold ward by ward. We're picking good chunks. So in your memo, you'll see we're starting with Ward 1, which has around 100, right? 110. Moving on from there to 2, 3, and 4. Obviously, a lot smaller number of septic systems there. And then tackling the behemoth of Ward 5, where we have over like 700 and almost 800 septic systems that are not compliant. And so I'm trying to think of anything else that's important that we haven't covered. I know. One of the considerations that we have been concerned about is obviously we have a number of citizens in our community that don't have a lot of funds, and some of this noncompliance can be because of their inability to spend on things beyond their essentials. We've been exploring a lot of different ideas to try and offer relief in that area. We looked to see if they were talking with our treasurer, if there's any ability to get loans, a loan program expanded via bonds, much like we do our septic loans, which I'll talk about in 1 second. That's not possible. This is about a $400 to $600 expense, just so you're aware. We've also talked to community development to see if there's any grants that they can hunt down, and Emily is already on the hunt, so hopefully we can have some nice solutions as we progress that we might be able to offer to homeowners. And then, we've also reached out to all of the haulers in our community, so all septic haulers have to be permitted by the health department. And we work with all of them. So we've sent outreach. Of course, we would never recommend one over any other. Here's the list of all haulers. But we have reached out to them and asked them to give thought to what they might do if somebody has issues with price point, and have had some pretty good response so far in terms of how haulers have responded to that. It is a concern. But there's, again, if you are a homeowner and you have a septic system, maintenance is a requirement to do so. So that's our path to date. So I think that would be a summary unless you all would like to know anything else.
Counselor Nolan.
Dominique and Connor, thank you very much. So obviously my ward is mostly affected by this in Ward 5. We've seen changes that happened years ago with paperwork, where they weren't accepting 3-page paperwork from the distributors. They were making records of it. Records weren't very well kept. You may be seeing this now, and maybe you're correcting it. They used to have a sheet they had to sign. It had 3 different forms in it. And one would go to the city, one would go to Viola, the other one would go to the homeowner and the person that pumped the system. That went away for a while. And I had asked, I speak to a lot of people that are in the business. I work in a lot of vehicles that are in the business of doing pumping, and it never made sense to them why all of a sudden the city wasn't asking who was getting serviced and who wasn't. And that became something I brought up with maybe a year and a half ago. I believe they're back into doing more tracking of who's been done. I think that was a sign of laziness on whoever was in charge before, not Kieran. It's very important to keep up with the uptake of septic systems, especially tight tanks. We have a lot of tight tanks in vulnerable areas that are very critical to our creeks, our beds, the wetlands in the ocean. And the only way to monitor them is when someone goes to dump gray water, or whether they're going to do a regular septic flush down the treatment plant. They need to have records of that. And the expense isn't that big of a deal. It's something that happens, you're talking once every 3 years. And the difference between a sewer bill on your water versus a pump out is very small. The big expense comes when you have to rebuild your septic system. That's when it becomes very expensive. But I'm happy to hear that there's some record keeping being done, because I can look at some of the past pump out records on the city, and you can see things 3, 5, 6, 7 years. They may have had them pumped, but no one was recording whether they had it pumped or not. So the enforcement is important, but the paperwork starts at Essex Ave. Where were you? What house? How many gallons? And that's it. And that will make it a lot easier. I love the idea that you guys are doing the advertisement constantly about septic maintenance. And it's an arduous task, but it's very important for the environment. It may not be so bad for someone out in the middle of Fernald Street, but someone on Jones's Creek, there's a lot of issues, and there's a lot of tight tank issues in that area. You guys are well aware of that have been found and fixed. But keep up the good work, and thank you.
Can I make a comment?
Yes.
To Mr. Nolan. Currently, our regulations require that if you are a hauler in our community and you do a system check and a pump out, there's a form you have to fill out, which is a review of the septic system, looking at the tank, looking at if there's any evidence of cooling, and really they have to acknowledge anything in that. And they, per regulation, have 15 days to get that to us. Many of them go through our wastewater treatment center and then are forwarded to us, and some of them send directly to us. The homeowner in our requirements is not required to manage that. It's the hauler's job as the right to be permitted in our city. And we've been working actively with our haulers, helping them understand why it's important and making sure that they're being thorough and filling out those forms. We also, as part of our digitization efforts that are coming through our Public Health Excellence Grant, are going to be giving them an online environment that they can do through their cell phone that allows them to just submit that report right away, and it's in the system. So right now, Connor has to make about 7 different hops of data to build his version of the truth. And this process of digitization will allow the pump out hauler to be able to immediately get the data in. So we're going to be able to speed up and have a really good purview going forward. That's probably going to be tackled first quarter.
Good.
Yeah. And I just want to call out also, I think just knowing how overworked the staff was when I came in, it wasn't that they didn't want to, they admitted immediately, like, we're not doing this. They just had no time to do it with one sanitarian. So the importance of having Connor here and having a person focused on compliance and follow-up is just, I can't thank you guys enough for funding that. It's really important. You'd be in the same pickle.
Councilor Nolan.
Sorry, Jason, I didn't want to talk. I'm not blaming you guys for the past. I just know that we have a past.
Yeah.
And it wasn't working, and I'm happy to know that it is working tonight.
Great.
So, thank you.
Councilor Grow.
Thank you. You brought up, partially addressed the question I was going to ask about resources available to people who are economically challenged in terms of that. Are you, just to be clear, there are no known resources available for people? Is it something that?
There's no loan programs. Once you have a failure, your design and, entire implementation is covered through a septic loan program, but the function check itself is not part of that.
Okay,
process.
so there are resources for failed systems
For
that.
failed systems, absolutely, yeah.
That's good, thank you.
What did that?
Yeah.
Last month. Councilor Worthley.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. To both of you, thank you for your presentation. And Dominique, I want to specifically thank you for advocating for the position that we've funded and you filled successfully, because if you hadn't advocated for it, I don't think that the council or the mayor would have known to fund that and how important it was. So thank you for that. Actually, I do have one other question. In our neighborhood, there was a proposal, and we don't know where it stands, for potentially running the sewer through our street. And it was going to be paid for by a grant. It's sort of been a little in limbo. But I do know of someone who has a failed tank who doesn't want to spend the money to upgrade his tank because the sewer might be coming through. And that's sort of one of those like catch-22s. And does that give people any other, well, I mean, you can't have any flexibility on polluting. If you're polluting, you're polluting. But does that give any, like, what are the options if there's a potential sewer project and you have a failed septic tank?
So you have to talk to my friend Michael about those connections, but if you have a tank that's got problems, you need to get that thing pumped and take care of it, right? And again, I wish that we had funding to support somebody who's financially needs help, and we don't right now, but we are working on it. I mean, we've been very focused on how to help the customer here. Just an easy answer.
Do with a failed system if they're economically eligible.
So if they have a failed system, so in other words, we could go and inspect and we could say you have a failed system, get a Title V. I'm now a Title V inspector, so I'm very excited about that.
Here you go.
And with that Title V inspection, you can begin the application process to be supported in the repair or replacement of your system.
And if the sewer is coming through at some point, then do we spend the money, whether they get the support from the city or they're paying it for themselves? Do they spend the money on upgrading the septic tank, knowing they may have a betterment or a hookup to the sewer at some point?
I don't think we can
Likely
get
would
that
be a
answer.
repair is my guess. I'm sorry.
I don't think we can get that answer tonight.
Okay.
Because it's too many
Very
variables.
specific.
And I know if there's a functioning Title V system where they did other betterments, you just paid for the street part if you didn't want to connect up.
See. Okay.
Um,
I'll help that constituent when we get to that point. Thank you.
I have just a couple of, one is that you need to be very, very clear that non-compliant is strictly record keeping. It's not that it's a non-functioning system for these people. When they get a letter, it's not, your system has failed. It's the fact that it's record, it's not compliant by record keeping standards. And I try very hard to find the health regulations. Where are they hidden?
Oh, that makes me so sad because we've been working really hard on making our website navigatable. If you
So they're on your, okay, so they're on the Board of Health website.
Yes, they
Got
are.
it. Okay. All right, that's easy enough.
Big tab that says regulations.
Okay. Yep. That's answers that question.
Okay.
Yeah, today I was
We
trying to
just
look up.
redid them this year. There's a lot of
Yeah.
work to get that done.
Yeah, I was trying to look up, what is it? 351.02.
That's right. And what that is it mirrors Title V. So
Yep.
if it's like 3.51 in Title V,
Yep.
we're 351. So it's like
Yeah.
completely analogous to how Title V is laid out.
And I should have known to go. Councilor Benson.
That's where, can you explain what Title V is, since you're an expert, to the constituents, like in a couple sentences? So, because people are probably listening and thinking, what is Title V? So lucky for you, you're an expert.
Yeah, I'm sort of an expert. Do you want to take this one since I've been doing all the talking and I'll chip in?
So Title V is the Massachusetts common law regarding septic systems and sanitation. It was implemented in 1995. It's about 97 pages. That just has different regulations regarding septic tanks, tight tanks, sewer laterals, and the interconnecting maintenance and repairs and implementation of septic systems in specific areas. Design plans.
If anything you'd ever want to know about septic. And it's actually it's a very important piece of legislation because prior to that, there wasn't.
Well, it didn't get on the recording, so you weren't at the microphone. That's all right. You don't need to
I just wanted
repeat.
to add that it also covers how you would plan and install septic systems as both traditional as well as innovative and alternative design systems.
Title V is the law regulating on-site wastewater systems.
That's correct.
That's the answer.
Yeah, no, but it's just because as we're saying all these things, people are probably like, what does this mean? So thank you. And thank you for chiming in too, because you're quite an expert on wastewater
I am.
and all of that. So
I'm
thank
a
you.
pro, Val. I'm
You are a pro.
in that area of certain things. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you very much. And what we have before us is for information purposes, but now we know when we get those calls, we know how to explain it intelligently to our constituents.
And I just would like to remind the city council that we are happy to come to any constituent meetings, or if you think any more education is needed, if you're hearing any feedback, we really want to know so that we can improve how we're communicating. And of course, refer any of your constituents to the health department, and we're going to be prepared to. We've planned this so that the volumes will be manageable, so we can answer the phone and get people an answer quickly and help them move along. So please don't hesitate to refer them in. We're standing by to take that phone call.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Excellent. Thank you, Connor and Dominique.
Now we need to vote on accepting that item number 5.
Motion to accept item number 5 is originally on the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Gross, seconded by Counselor Memard. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, 9-0. Next order of business, Madam Clerk. Thank you, you two. Thank you both.
The December 4th Budget and Finance Standing Committee report.
Counselor Memard.
So we're going to move to accept the December 4th, 2025 Budget and Finance unanimous consent agenda. And once that's done, I will step through a summary of the items if anybody has a particular question.
Motion made by Counselor Memard, seconded by Counselor Worthley. I heard it quietly over there earlier. To accept the Budget and Finance Subcommittee report as a consent agenda. Discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Ayes have it. 9-0.
So quickly, there are actually 13 items on our agenda from the other evening. The first was a memorandum from our building commissioner regarding a delay in payment fees for short-term rentals. It's been pushed out until April 30th, 2026. Second was a memorandum from the Archives Committee requesting acceptance of donations supporting the Archives Department in the amount of $276. Third was memorandum from the Veteran Services Director requesting acceptance of donations to support the Cape Ann Veteran Services in the amount of $2,200, including donations from Bank Gloucester and Judith and Harry Hoaglander. Fourth was a memorandum from the Director of Elder Services requesting acceptance of donations to support the Gloucester Council on Aging in the Rose Baker Senior Center in the amount of $1,987.88 from the following members of our community, who are Margaret Gaspironi, Luciano Cagnasso, Margaret Allen, Ed Fisher, Constantina Barros Merder, Patricia Small, Bank Gloucester, and Barry McKay for a total of $1,987.88. Number 5 was a memorandum from the Director of Elder Services requesting acceptance of the Title 3B Older Americans Grant, and this was in the amount of $9,000. Number 6 was a memorandum from the Community Development Director requesting acceptance of Gloucester's Essex Heritage Visitor Center Grant. This is in the amount of $2,500. Number 7, memorandum from the Youth Development Coordinator requesting our acceptance of this Policy, Systems, and Environment, or PSE, Prevention Grant in the amount of $5,000. We then had a memorandum from the Shellfish Constable requesting our acceptance of fiscal year 2026 Great Marsh Green Crab Trapping Program Grant in the amount of $11,375. Number 9, memorandum from the Police Chief and an SBT number 26-SBT3 for payment of uniforms for 5 new welcomed officers attending the academy in January. This was in the amount of $12,500. Item number 10 was a memorandum from the Police Chief requesting acceptance of donations to support the Community Impact Unit in the amount of $250. Number 11 was a memorandum again from the Police Chief requesting our acceptance of fiscal year municipal road safety grant in the amount of $35,975. Number 12 was a memorandum from the Police Chief requesting acceptance of a fiscal year 2026 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Program grant in the amount of $30,000. And finally, memorandum from the City Clerk and a 2026 special budgetary transfer number 4 in the amount of $8,266.40, and a 2026 SBT number 5 in the amount of $362.82, and these were both for reimbursement of police details for the November 4th, 2025 city election. And that concludes those motions.
Any counselors have any questions? I just would like to, on the item number 1, it's really not a delay. It's an extension of the payment period for the first year. And this is because we pushed it off till April 30th, and then we didn't require registration until September. So this year alone, it will be pushed out till April 30th, but that's only because of the delays that we had last year.
Question. We're receiving pay, people are paying. I'll get
Absolutely,
that.
yes, they're
So
registered.
that, I think,
yes,
because someone will be thinking like, oh, so good, thank you.
Yep. Nope. And then you're going to be, next December 31st, that's when the payments are going to need to be in for 2026. So this is an extension until 2025.
Microphone.
That's,
Sorry, I'm working with the building department on this, of course. And if you recall, when we were talking about the rental registry and the short-term rental, we have over 5,000, almost 5,000 rental properties now that have identified. And that's a dramatic increase from where we were before. So we're really pleased with the results.
and that's not really the short-term rental. That's more
It's short-term rental and all.
right,
rentals
but
in the
but it's
city.
mostly full-time rentals.
Yes, that is
yeah.
correct.
Okay. Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
December 1st, Ordinances and Administration Standing Committee Report. Next is the December 3rd, Planning and Development Standing Committee Report.
Same.
Very much, being so concise. Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
Public hearing 2025, number 52, RZ 2025, number 7, to amend GZO Section 6 definitions regarding flagpoles.
I'll open this public hearing and we will continue it to January 27th, 2026.
Next is public hearing 2025, number 53, RZ 2025, number 8, amend GZO zoning map by changing the zoning district designation of identified lots from marine industrial MI to neighborhood business NB.
I'll open that public hearing and
Mr. President?
continue it.
Mr.
Oh.
President,
Council Worthley.
I'd like to move to withdraw. Since I'm the author of the order, I'm authorized to do that, and I'd like to put that motion on the table for the council's consideration.
Thank you. Counselor Grow.
Has been second.
I can't second my own.
Has been second.
Second.
Oh, okay. Second, motion made by Counselor Worthley, seconded by Counselor Nolan to withdraw. Counselor Grow.
I'm disinclined to support this withdrawal. We're in the middle of a fairly comprehensive review of this project and the rezoning. The planning board is in the middle of their public hearing. We've had substantial amount of input, both positive and against this rezoning. And I think that given the expense, the time, the staff time that have been involved in this order, that sort of pulling the rug out of everybody's feet is we sort of missed our window to do that. I think at this point, I would like to see this finish its process, go through the planning board, hear their recommendation. Planning and development will do their job in reviewing it and taking their consideration to the full council. But I think I don't understand the reasoning behind pulling it back at this point.
Second.
That's not a motion.
Mr. President,
Let if anyone else wants to speak to this.
let the motion maker have the first chance to speak and not someone else.
Oh. Sorry. Go ahead, Counselor Worthley.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate the time that's been put into this. It's been largely the planning board and my time and a few other people from the public. We've heard from the planning board at the last meeting, gave a very, they need more time, they want to think it through more, and it was not very likely that they'd support it. I think to spend more money after bad money isn't a saving of money, it's an additional cost. So to re-advertise for hearings, to have more staff time on something that I'm inclined to, I won't be here to vote on it, but I would be not so supportive of something I even put forward. The writing's on the wall, and I think the argument to honor the time that's been lost doesn't take into account the time that will be lost proceeding forward with something that's likely not to pass. So unless you want to take over as the sponsor of the order, I don't know if that's a possibility through the clerk's office, but I don't know who would be pushing this to continue further if the person who wrote the order doesn't support it either. That being me.
Would that happen?
Order has been given to the city council now. It's
Right,
in the
so now
hands
it's
of the city
now it
council.
belongs to the city council.
Right.
So, I mean, at the public hearing,
I'm saying he can reintroduce it if he'd like.
no,
If he-
well, except for it hasn't been withdrawn.
That's why it's on the table now to be withdrawn.
Anyone else?
Can I respond to his statements? So the cost, by and large, has already been expended through the creation of presentations by the planning director, the community development office. The public hearings have been advertised for both the planning board and the city council. People have put in their own efforts in trying to weigh in on this issue. I think that withdrawing something like this with a rezoning, which has specific impact on multiple properties, and to sort of truncate the process that could then come back 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now, seems like it's the idea that you might feel like that you're not going to win the argument seems like a pretty weak excuse, frankly, to pull it. So I'm thinking that we're in the middle of the process. We follow the process to its conclusion, however it ends up, and that's what we're here to do.
Mr. President.
Topic, please. This back and forth is not going to continue. So go ahead, Councilor Worthley.
Thank you. I would just submit for the record and directly through the chair that in the 400-year history of the city council, I don't know that anybody who's sponsored an order and asked to withdraw and has ever had anybody say we should continue forward with something and to question my motives that someone in 2 weeks could resubmit it, that's up to the new council if someone wants to do that. The Massachusetts Area Planning Council could submit it. The mayor could submit it. The planning board, the zoning board, 10 residents could submit it. But unless a city councilor wants to submit it, I mean, any city councilor can do that. There will be hearings and more meetings and more time spent on this and more staff time spent on it. And it's not a question of withdrawing because I think I'm going to lose. It's simply after listening to the early input, it's not as good as an idea as I had thought when I first put it forward. And I think everyone makes mistakes at time. And I think it needed to be introduced after a lot more public input from neighbors in ward meetings and having their input. And we don't have that. So that's why I'm putting motion forward to withdraw and hope that the council will support that and give the new council something else to take up your time.
There you go. Anyone else? All right, a vote on the motion to withdraw. Do we have to do roll call or is this straight up? Is there a roll call? Yes.
Would there be any benefit to sending this back to the committee level at this point?
No, it's already a planning board.
In the committee.
It's in committee. It's still in committee. And it's with the planning board still. Haven't gotten their recommendation.
Can I ask a question before we vote?
Yep.
So how much have we paid for the advertisement for both the planning board and for the city council?
I don't think that's relevant on this vote.
Why not?
I don't think that, because we're voting on the merits of the withdrawal, not on how much it cost for the public hearing. So on the merits of the withdrawal, that's what we're voting on.
So if we were to continue this, so Council Worthley would not be on the council at the time where this was coming up again. Have the opportunity person that
Off your mic.
Go ahead.
You're off the mic.
Oh, I'm sorry. Would he be eligible to
That would be up to the
Be-
proponents.
be the presenter? So
I
he
mean, if
could,
he is the proponent, yes.
so he could take the 15
Right.
minutes to
Yes,
to
absolutely.
present.
Whoever the proponent may, yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
On the motion to withdraw, Counselor Grace,
No.
Counselor Gross,
no,
Counselor Grow,
No.
Counselor Majota,
Yes.
Counselor Memhard,
No.
Counselor Nolan,
No.
Counselor Worthley,
Yes.
Counselor Benson,
No.
Counselor Gilman.
No,
The vote is 2 in favor, 7 opposed. The motion to withdraw fails.
thank you. I will now open the public hearing and continue it to December 27th. I mean, January 27th, 2026. Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
Public hearing 2025, number 55, Council Order 25, number 38, Memhard. Amend GCO Chapter 22, Traffic and Motor Vehicles,
Wait,
Section.
Did you skip number 3?
Yep.
Oh,
Way
sorry.
Lane.
Thank you. Public hearing 2025, number 54, SCP number 2025, number 8, New Way Lane, number 50, GZO Sections 1.5, General Procedures Relating to Appeals, Variances, and Special Permits, 1.8, Use Table, Special Permits, 2.3.2, Community Service Uses, 3, Personal Wireless Service Facility, and 5.13, Wireless Communication Facilities, to permit a wireless communication facility in the R30 district.
I'll open the public hearing and continue it to January 13th, 2026. Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
Public hearing 2025, number 55, Council Order number 25-38, Memhard. Amend GCO Chapter 22, Traffic and Motor Vehicles, Section 22-270.1, Resident Sticker Parking Only, by adding Hammond Street for its entire length, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., May 1st to September 15th.
I'll open the public hearing. Those who'd like to speak in favor?
Leave that, Mike.
No, you'll be
No,
next.
she's here.
Oh, is that who's speaking in favor of? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yep. Okay, you're representing the proponents?
We finally made it to a meeting.
My name is Barbara Newell Ryan, and I live at 21 Hammond Street, 19-21 Hammond Street. There's only parking on one side of the street. We have several Airbnbs now. There are quite a few vehicles that park that aren't residents. We've had people parking in handicapped zones that go to the beach. And it's just parking is very tight. And now we have another 3 condominiums that are coming in, multi bedrooms, and a lot of parking. We're just concerned that there's going to be a lot more parking with visitors, and there's very few spaces available at this time. So that's why we are requesting for resident parking only.
Thank you. Councilor Memard,
Yes, thank you for
speaking
speaking.
in favor?
I am speaking in favor of my motion. This has been before us in Traffic Commission and O&A back and forth for a while. Originally, I was contacted by Sean and Sonia Goulart, who live at the top of Hammond Street. Unfortunately, as other streets in the neighborhood have been made resident parking only for the summer to accommodate and prevent people going to the beaches or the marinas and the harbor and businesses down on East Main Street, there's been overflow increasingly onto Hammond Street, which has not been designated as resident-only parking. So we've sort of created a problem that's spread a little bit. And on their behalf, we are requesting that Hammond Street be designated as one of those areas, along with all the other areas around our beaches, that seasonally is posted as resident-only parking. And there have been a number of pressures and complaints similar to the ones that were referenced just now. The police have been notified on a number of occasions, but it's without proper posting. It's difficult for the police to enforce non-resident parking on Hammond Street. So I respectfully request that the council approve this additional restriction for the area.
Anyone else to speak in favor? You're not talking. It's not your. Anyone else to speak? Anyone to speak in opposition? Anyone online? Okay. Did we get any communications?
Yes, the city council did receive an email communication from Ron Goulart, who was in favor of this proposed amendment.
Thank you. And questions from the councilors? Councilor Benson.
My question for you, Councilor Member, and is with it being resident only, there's going to be people can still park there and with their beach stickers. So I live on Summit Street in Ward 2, and I want to go over to Niles Beach, which I enjoy going, and I want to use my beach. I'm going to park there. I can park in the street, walk down with my beach sticker. So there's a concern there too that it's not going to stop beach parking. I heard the little bit of that, so I'm just obviously I want to be differential to the ward councilor and supportive, but I just have that concern based on just the conversation that we've had so far.
Fair question and appreciate it. The problem seems to be non-resident, out of town, out of state people parking during the summer months on this street to frequent. Could be the whale watch, could be the restaurant down the bottom of the hill, could be the beaches. And because other streets in the neighborhood have been prohibited from those people parking, now they see this as a remaining opportunity. We'd like to eliminate that opportunity.
Anyone else? Councilor Grow.
I'm getting a little concerned about how much parking we're taking away from people. And I guess it's not so much a question. Well, I guess the question is, what if we continue to do resident-only parking in all these neighborhoods, as justifiable as it may be? we get into situations where it's going to be hard to have people over that we want to have over because there won't be parking for friends and family who are visiting from elsewhere. Is there any appetite to coming up with a guest parking permit system that we have in communities like Cambridge and Boston, where we can issue temporary passes to people for family and friends that are coming to visit that would allow them to park on the street?
I think we'll put you in charge of that. Because
I will-
I can only imagine the nightmare that
I will
must be.
gladly issue an order to do that.
Through the chair.
No, I mean the administration of it.
Through the chair, I do believe that the
I can
police,
join you.
the police department has indicated a willingness to try and accommodate residents' requests if they notify them in advance. And we don't have a formal program of putting permits on, other than an informal one of residents having their neighbors, their visitors park on their driveway and they park on the street, or putting a note on the dashboard of the car saying these people are here. That's my guess. That's so resolution.
Council Gilman,
So we have
these are
enacted.
questions. These are questions. We're not debating it. We're not deliberating yet. So questions for Council Memard or the presenter. These are questions right now. I have a question. Were all the abutters notified of this? Are we supposed to send out abutter notifications on these? Probably should start. Were all the abutters notified that this was
I
going
have
to be
requested the
enacted?
Goularts contact their neighbors. This one neighbor can speak perhaps more to that, but it's a very commonly discussed issue on Hammond Street. I
Do you
believe.
know if all the street is in favor of this? You need to come up. Thank you. You need to state your name and address again. Sorry.
Barbara Nola Ryan, 19-21 Hammond Street. I don't know that all of the neighbors are in favor of this. I think those who have the Airbnbs would probably not be in favor of it. The other thing is on the street, there's only parking on one side of the street, so that makes it really tight. And it's some of the, at least one of the homes doesn't have a driveway at all. But again, it's a very busy street, and a lot of the cars that come are from out of state. So it should. In answer to your question, I don't know that. I don't think that everybody would be in favor of it.
All right. Thank you. Councilor Grace.
Do the Airbnbs have parking that is designated for them, like off-street parking?
You wouldn't know that. I don't think that would be a question for you.
Well, I know one of the properties that's supposed to be an Airbnb has no driveway at all. So.
Oh, what zoning says.
Thank you.
Because unfortunately, it's a business in a residential district that's, being debated.
Good question. Are you considering continuing this public hearing and allowing public notice?
Oh, no. I mean, this concerns me that, because, but that was my question. We can close the public hearing if no one has any more questions.
Well, if we close it, I would make a motion that we continue the public hearing and notice the residents on the street, the property owners on the street, and continue it to the next meeting and finish this after. Oh, go ahead.
By notifying abutters, are you referring to the counselor's outreach? Because having the city clerk's office do that is setting a precedent for all parking restriction public hearings to be noticed to abutters.
Yeah.
You have a question?
Yes, I do have a question. And
Thank you.
I do have a question, and to speak to what Councilor Groh was saying is, I think if this, I would support, I think this makes sense if it was to be not just for this, but for any street that we're doing. For example, I think if it's like just taking away a spot, I don't think it makes sense. But I think if we're looking at the entire street being resident only, I think it would be something to look at. that the whole street is notified, whether it's on the councilor themselves that are putting this forward, but sometimes there is someone that's missed for whatever reason. I think it would make sense. But I think just looking at that, I would want to support that only if this was going to be not just for this, but for other streets going forward.
Councilor Nolan.
So my question, and I think I know the answer is going to be to Grace. This is a publicly noticed public hearing that we advertise by our council guidelines in how we do this. And to try to set a standard where we're going to start giving abutter notices or certified mail for everything that we do in the city of Gloucester will bankrupt us. People are responsible to be responsible for their property. And if they don't want to pay attention to what we advertise and how we do it by law, I think this is a bad precedent to even think about doing individual notices for parking restrictions or resident parking on public property. Next thing you know, we're going to be sending out letters for street sweeping, for no parking during snow. We're going down a worm hill.
We can close the public hearing now. And continue this conversation out of the public hearing where we're in deliberations. So I'm going to close the public hearing if there's no more questions on this. So now, committee recommendation.
Microphone.
I thought Val was the only one to get that tonight. On a motion by Council Majota, seconded by Councilor Grace, the ordinance administration voted 3 in favor, 0 opposed, to recommend the city council amend GCO Chapter 22, Traffic and Motor Vehicles, Section 22-270-1, resident sticker parking only by adding Hammond Street for its entire length from 6 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. from May 1st.
6 o'clock PM.
6 a.m. to 6 p.m., May 1st to September 15th, and I so move.
Second.
Okay, now discussion.
I have another question, actually. Or not a question, but just in the discussion.
Councilor Benson.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just like looking
Go
at this
ahead.
and now I have another. So like, we're talking about Airbnbs. and
No, we're talking about residents.
That's what I'm,
sticker
but
parking.
let
We're
me
not
get to the
talking about
point if I
Airbnbs.
can. Thank you. Speaking of like, so it's 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. But if someone is renting an Airbnb for a week, they're going to be parking way beyond. If you're saying resident only parking for the entire street, entire length from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. But what if an Airbnb is parking? They're non-resident. They have an out-of-state plate. They're parking there for a week, all day, every day. So I'm just thinking that if it's
towed,
huh?
Ticket.
Yeah. So no, because if you're saying entire length from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. if I'm reading that correctly. So they can park there
overnight.
Overnight. Okay.
6:01 p.m. to 5:59 a.m. They can.
Okay. So for its entire, so they can park from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's what I'm understanding.
Yes.
Okay.
6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Okay. No, I understand it.
Yep.
Okay.
Councilor Memard.
This item in our ordinance was developed back during COVID when we had an influx of people parking in neighborhood residential streets in order to access the beach. And and Mayor Romeo and subsequent administrations facilitated this resident-only designation for residential streets adjoining public points of interest like the beach. It really doesn't involve any consideration of Airbnb short-term rentals and that sort of thing. It's having to do with maintaining civility in reserving property owners' right to park in front of their home on their street that out-of-town beachgoers don't take advantage of.
Councilor Grace.
I just want to point out that you said that all of the other streets around there have been made resident only with the exception of Hammond. So basically what has happened is a domino effect where all the dominoes are landing on Hammond Street, which is unfair to the people of Hammond Street. And although I understand not wanting to take parking away from people going to a restaurant or whatever, we have, by virtue of being kind to the other roads and making it possible for them to have parking as residents, we have inundated Hammond Street as a side effect of that kindness. And so to me, it makes sense to make it fair across the board. And just to throw this out there for food for thought, the way that Salem does for short-term rentals for people staying is the resident of the house gets a temporary thing that hangs on the mirror of the car to say that you are allowed to park here on, this from this day to this day. And then that is given back to the resident until the next time a short-term rental needs to have the street parking. That's how it's done in Salem. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Worthley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to bring a certain perspective to this. This isn't necessarily about an Airbnb or a whale watch or the Lobster restaurant or any restaurant in town. This is simply a Gloucester ward councilor asking the Gloucester City Council if we can make a Gloucester public road available for Gloucester taxpayers, and specifically, most likely, the people who live on that street. Although, as Councilor Benson mentions, anybody with a Gloucester sticker can park there. The police are not all of a sudden going to have more resources and have cruisers running up and down Hammond Street regulating this, but it's really an indicator for people who are essentially abusing the system and avoiding paying the city of Gloucester a fee at the beaches by parking there and getting a ride or a ride share or walking to the beaches. And when I was happy to work with Councilor Nolan and Councilor Memhard when we started the beach parking reservation program, we acknowledged that one of the effects of really directing people to the beaches is that more and more neighborhoods are going to feel the pressure, people wanting to park and avoid paying that. And if I recall, there was a number of streets, and I think Hammond Street may have been on that, but Saywood Street and Beach Road, and same thing in West Gloucester. We said these streets need to be made resident parking only, understanding that there's going to be this other effect, a ripple effect of people parking further away to avoid paying a fee at the beaches. Now, this question of should we notify people? It's not just what Councilor Nolan said. I agree with it. We've notified them in the newspaper the way we're supposed to. We shouldn't set precedent for the clerk's office to do more work. But we also, like there's 4 other of you on here, there are 5 ward councilors who know their neighborhood and their constituents really well. And I like to defer to the ward councilor and say, this is something he's been working on for quite some time. And a suggestion that he wouldn't know that this is something that people really want in his ward and are asking him for this, I don't think, Councilor Memhard, you would have brought it forward if you thought there was major dissent on Hammond Street for people who wouldn't want this. So out of respect to you, I would defer to his wisdom in presenting this. And Councilor Memhard does not put things forward just for discussion purposes. I think you've been through that exercise and have learned some lessons that it takes a lot of time. So I'm going to defer to the ward councilor who knows his neighborhood and his constituents and not only support it, but also encourage my colleagues to not entertain these other thoughts about parsing out parking spaces. This is to keep people who are living on the street and paying taxes in Gloucester to be able to park on their street. Very simple. And so that's why I'll be supporting and hope everyone else does as well.
Thank you. Councilor Nolan.
So we did vet this a few times at O&A, and we went back to traffic and we went through it. Councilor Grace and Councilor Majota and I worked with Scott. We heard from several neighbors, and it's something that makes sense. It's a neighborhood issue. They feel like they're being squeezed. They're not looking for year round. They're not looking to punish people. They're looking for a fair shake during the summer season to be able to find a place and park in front of their home, or to have people to come over and be there that are residents. They understand the law of resident sticker. I don't think it's a big ask for a neighborhood that I would say at a pace is much higher of growing on houses being built and turned into McMansions. And some of our regular residents that are trying to live there and sustain their lives are feeling the hurt from corporations coming in and doing things. I believe in this. It was in front of us twice because we had to go back to traffic. Scott made a very thorough case of it. the Traffic Commission did as well. So I will be supporting this tonight. Thank you, Scott, for bringing this forward.
Council Benson.
Thank you. And I will be supporting this, even my little questions. My only concern was that after 6 p.m. there will be people with out of state plates parking. That was my point. That was my point until being interrupted. But but beyond that, and also with the beach parking as well. So I will be supporting this, and I again think that being deferential to the other counselor, and I know that you, when I've brought things forward, you have supported me as well. And I think, and I appreciate folks coming here and speaking to this and the concern that I know that people are parking every which way, and it causes a squeeze for a lot of residents. And thank you for coming out and staying out quite a bit on this chilly night. So we'll be supporting that. Thank you.
Councilor Grow.
Yeah, I'm with you, Scott, in terms of supporting this in general. I just want to recognize that every time we come up with a solution to a problem, we tend to create a problem down the road. The reason that Hammond Street is getting hit with more people parking on the streets because streets adjacent to it have been turned residents. So we're pushing the problem away, and we need to recognize that and come up with a solution. Again, I think the idea of allowing people to have guest passes for friends and family, one per house, whatever, it works in other communities. People could buy the pass and have it available to them, and then that would serve as that would solve an issue that we could be creating. I get the resident parking issue is a problem, and I think we just need to be aware that fixing one thing sometimes leads to creating a problem elsewhere, and we have to be able to respond to that as well.
Councilor Gilman.
So back to what I was going to say earlier when we were still in questions. So we have always done this for the Lanesville Community Center when there's an event there. That whole street, most of it is residents only. And what we've done is the guests are told to go in, get a placard, and they put it on their windshield. And the only outreach to the police is a call from Cheryl Mazer, who's the president, to the police department, just to say on this day we have this event, and all of our guests are going to have placards on. And it's been, I'm not sure how much that has changed since I am no longer the ward counselor, but that seemed to work pretty well. And it didn't seem to be a lot of work. The other thing I wanted to just mention is when we did all of the streets around the quarries during COVID, the way that I went about telling people is that I would just walk around and give people a notice that this was going to be up for public hearing and to let people know. But we also benefit because we had a neighborhood watch group of 25 people. So all the folks in those areas all wanted residents parking only on the private roads there around the quarry. So that was kind of agreed to. So that's another thing to think about. But I think to ask people to, publicly notice it and all that stuff is a lot of work. It's really quite simple. Anyway, those are my 2 cents.
Thank you. I feel it is incumbent upon, the ward counselor to definitely poll the street. And I think that needs to be, maybe that's something we need to put codify into our rules that if you're coming forward with parking restrictions, you need to have at least polled the street so that everyone is aware of it. And there was another piece of this. It was easy with the Lanesville Community Center because that's a group on one street. These are, I don't know how many houses are on Hammond Street, but they're all individual streets that would have the traffic. And I think we need to make very certain that any visitor passes that are going to be administered or dealt with do not fall on the clerk's office. That's something we need to be absolutely certain of. And I am concerned, not with this order, but everyone wants resident parking only on their street. And we have to be very, very careful, and sometimes we are going to have to be in a position to say no. And I think that's very important, that we keep that in mind, because I know when I lived downtown, I wanted resident-only parking. And, you know, what about people who, you know, they live in an apartment on the street and, you know, their car's registered at their parents' house, someplace else. You know, they live there, but now they can't park there. So these are things that we need to take into consideration. That said, I'm ready for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, 9-0. Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
Public hearing 2025, number 56, council order number 25-43, Marjota, amend GCO Chapter 22, Traffic and Motor Vehicles, Section 22-270, parking prohibited at all times, and Section 22-291, tow-away zones, by adding Leonard Street, both sides, from its intersection with Cambridge Avenue to its intersection with River Road.
I'll open the public hearing. All those would like to speak in favor?
Mr. President, I move to continue this public hearing to a date specific 1/13/26 or later. I've yet to hear from the resident who put this in motion, and also based on what I'm hearing from the council, I would like to notify other people who live on the street of Cambridge Ave and River Road, please. That's why I'd
Okay.
like to continue it.
Oh,
Second.
You were continuing it to the second council meeting?
Whichever date, I mean,
All right, let's
I
move it to
originally said
February,
1/13/26, but if that doesn't work, then I'm okay with 1/27/26.
let's go to February.
Then the next meeting, February.
Yeah.
No worries. We can go mid-February.
I don't think you need a date certain for an ordinance change, only for zoning change, and it's at the council president's discretion, isn't it?
Oh, we're opening the public hearing, so we have to continue it.
Just continue it,
Just continued?
and then he works with
So,
you on a date.
Then you're
So,
going to
yeah.
have to continue it every time.
Pick a date.
Pick a date. So February 10th.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. Move to continue to February 10th.
Thank you.
Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
Councilor's request to the mayor.
What was that? Sorry, somebody was whispering a little.
Councilor's
was in my
request to
ear.
the mayor.
Councilor's request to the mayor. Councilor Grace.
I don't have any requests. I just wish that everyone has a very happy holiday season, and I would just like to put out to the public that maybe we work on not conflating what an inconvenience is with what a problem is. It is inconvenient to have to walk from a distance when you park your car. A problem is when you do not have the legs to walk from the car. Let's put things into perspective and have a happy holiday. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Grow.
I don't have any requests to the mayor except to say thank you for your service, Mayor Verga. You know, you've done a good job, and you know, we've got a new mayor coming in, so we'll burden his agenda with a bunch of requests as soon as that happens. I do want to say, just on a personal note, again, I don't want to do this too much. The Veterans Show will be up through Saturday, December 13th. The Middle Street Walk is going to be open. City Hall is going to be open. So if you haven't seen the exhibit and you want to, this week is your chance, and then it'll be coming down after this weekend.
Very good. Councilor Majota.
No request, Mayor. Just like what Council Gross said, I'd like to thank Mayor Berger for his service, and also Council Worthley. Thank you. I got to know you for the past 4 years. Thank you. I remember the first time I met you while you were chopping wood, I believe, when I was running on for my walk-in.
Green signs, I think I was doing.
Maybe that, when I was going for Ward 3. And I'd like to thank Councilor Val Gilman for everything that she's done to help me continue to grow. And I know I'll be asking you questions about Ward 4 still, so thank you for everything. We're going to miss you.
Thank you. Councilor Memard.
I would like to echo my fellow councilors' comments, starting with Councilor Grace. I like what you said. And Val, will miss you deeply. It's been 10 years that we've worked together, and Sean, and also Councilor Worthley, you've kept us all on our toes, so thank you. And I'm a little disappointed by the mayoral results, but we're going to work with a new mayor, and we wish Greg Verga, who has been a pleasure to work with and has been very responsive to me as a ward councilor, the very, very best going forward.
Councilor Nolan.
So I'll start off. I won't start with the mayor, as much as I respect him. I'll start with Val Gilman. As someone that I met when I first came into this, I didn't know her well. I saw that she was being poorly treated by another candidate, and that's not how I play. And I reached out to her, and we've been friends ever since. And she's been a very integral part to a lot of the decisions that I've made in the city and who I've become, excuse me, as a counselor, and helped me grow into a respected role where I respect everybody and understand what's going around me. And Val, I'm going to miss you deeply, and we're still going to continue to talk. I love you. To Councilor Worthley, it's been great serving with you. We haven't always agreed on things, but we've always respected each other. And I'm going to miss that camaraderie. I'll still speak with you afterwards. And to Greg Verga, I believe you did a great job as a mayor. You're a great person and a good friend, and we're going to miss you deeply. In some ways, we've lost a lot of good people in this past election, but I think Gloucester will prevail. We have some additions, and I'm sure we'll all work together. And I'm really happy to spend another 2 years with Councilor Memhard, someone that I've grown to adore. And then my pumpkin, Jason Grow.
Not going anywhere.
I know he's my backbone here, and taught me a lot of things. And everybody else on this council is really, really good. Tony, Dylan, Frank, you guys are my gang. We'll all do well.
Afterthoughts.
And Grace, you hold us together. You like the glue. So thank you, and I look forward to another 2 years with all of you. Thank you. Oh, and Grace. Marjorie Grace. Thank you very much for all you do and the pleasure you bring to this council.
Oh, thank you. Can I say something else, even though it's not my turn? Because I thought we were going to be doing our, we're
Yes,
going to
you
love you
may.
and miss you at the end. So I want an
Yes, you
opportunity.
may.
Thank you. Anyway, I want to say, Val, I'm going to miss you so much because, whenever there's something that's like wonky, I look up and there's my strength right there, and I will miss our camaraderie. And I wore pink for you. So, Councilor Worthley, if any of you don't like me here, it's his fault because he is the one that pushed me and pushed me and pushed me and pushed me until I finally consented. And I remember the first election that night, I called him. I'm like, I will never, ever put myself through this again. And guess what? He was right. I was wrong because I'm here again. So, I appreciate you both so very much, and you bring so much to this council. And it is, I will miss you very much. And to Mayor Verga, there's bigger and better things ahead for you. Everything, as I spoke with you and with your beautiful wife Kelly, everything happens for a reason in this life. And there's big things coming for you. So thanks, guys.
I say nice things too.
Councilor Worthley.
Thank you. I don't have any requests that I haven't submitted to the mayor's office already. I want to first thank constituents and voters for putting me here. I want to thank the entire city staff. Specifically, want to thank the city clerk's office and the auditor's office. Grace, you've been an absolute professional. I think you're thriving in the position you're in, and I'm going to miss working with you, but you really helped me be a better city councilor. So thank you very much. When I made the decision to run for mayor, it was preceded by a decision not to run for re-election to city council. I made the decision first because each of the members here knows how much time it goes into doing this job. And when I got back on the council 4 years ago, I remember a conversation I had with Councilor Majorta, he had thrown his hat in the ring for the Ward 3 race. And after he won, he said to me, how much time do you expect that the city council job will actually take? And I said, you should have thought of that before you decide to run. But, but I remember saying to you, it's 5 to 10 hours a week, because that was when I said that to you, right, exactly. Because I was basing that on when I was in the council 20 years ago, and there was no email, and I didn't have a cell phone, and there was no social media, and there was no anything. And I remember saying to you after the first 2 weeks, I'm sorry, Frank, but this is a lot more than I thought it would be for myself and for everybody. And I think to the public, they're the group that doesn't always know that we all, at different points in the year and at different points in the week, different points in the day, are putting in a lot of hours. And for me, it wasn't sustainable being a single dad, running my own practice, and being on the city council for much longer. You can do it for periods of time, but I made a decision not to run. But I love being a city councilor, and I love helping people. And everyone on here loves helping people, and that's the reason we do it. And I will miss that, but I'm not going anywhere. I live 3 minutes away. My phone number is the same number, and you can reach me multiple ways. And if any councilor needs any help, and the incoming mayor needs any help, I'd be honored to be helpful. Val, we've had a couple of differences from time to time, but I have always respected you, and I hope you always know that. And I will continue to respect you. I've learned a lot from you, so thank you very much. Mayor Verga, he has put his time and his heart into this, not only the last 4 years as mayor, but also on the school committee before that, and as a Ward 5 city council, and as an at-large city council. So like Council Nolan said, there's a lot leaving when Mayor Verga leaves as well. So I won't be a stranger. I'd be happy to be helpful. I just want to thank my colleagues for being good colleagues, even when we disagree. And disagreeing is the sort of lost art where, dissenting opinions from the Supreme Court sometimes are the most valuable ones to have that dialogue. So I want to encourage you guys to still have your own opinions and open minds and different things. I wish everyone a happy New Year and happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and wish you all good health as well.
Thank you. Council Gilman. It is you. Isn't that your name?
Okay. I'm going to take a couple of minutes because I have some fun things to talk about. Stop. The first thing is just business, and this is a handout from the tech about our how many people are enrolled there right now. And I do want everyone here to know that at Essex Tech, we have now 105 students from Gloucester, and we are changing the way of admissions from a way that we used to interview and give certain ratings for A's and B's, and counselors at the middle school would get to weigh in, and then an interview on the person's interest in one of the vocational trades. However, this new lottery is going to be quite a bit different. So we're actually meeting about this on Thursday to further discuss it. But the way right now it looks like we are talking about a way that they've done a rolling average for the last 3 years of how many students have averaged in each class. And then what we're trying to do with that is that would be that district like Gloucester, that would be our average in a lottery. So we're going to be going through that on Thursday, and I am going to continue in my role as an appointed member of Essex Tech, which I really enjoy, for another 3 years. So I still will be involved. So I will keep, my job is to keep the CFO and the mayor's office very aware and as respectful. I always let the superintendent and the school committee chair and vice chair know about what's going on, just to make sure that they're aware, and always willing to come back here at budget time with our superintendent to do a presentation if the city council wishes. So that's the business part. So I'm going to get a little bit mushy right now. And, first of all, I'd like to thank Greg Berger for his work. He's been a great mayor. He was my leader when I started on the school committee 18 years ago. And he was really a motivator and believed in me, gave me a lot of authority. And it was pretty exciting. Oh, good, the Kleenex. Dylan, you were supposed to bring my Kleenex. So anyway, best of luck to Greg. He's been great. And then I have a couple of other things I'd like to say. So I am going to have some fun right now, and I've got little presents for everybody. And I'm not going to get too mushy, but I think they're pretty fun. But my husband says I'm not that funny, so. Anyway, this horrified B-movie victims, this is something that Carolyn Kirk started in 2011, and it's got all these figurines. And then she gave it to Greg Verga in 2015, and then Sean Nolan in 2017. I got it in 2019. I presented it to Scott on a Zoom call. And what this was all about is supposedly it was to give this to a person that was running unopposed, to say that you just got a mulligan for coming back to this madness. I think it was something like that. So I'm really not, I never really quite understood what it meant. But at this point, I am going to present this to Frank Margiotta because he was, he's the next in line that has not had this, and he has run unopposed. And I thought his kids would just love seeing this. So I'm not sure. But anyway, so I'm giving this to you. Congratulations, Frank. And you've been awesome to work with. All right, so. All right, I'm going to start with Marjorie. And I'm going to say that, Marjorie, you've been a blast to work with. I love our pink. We talked about wearing pink tonight. I wore my pink earrings. I've got a pink present for you that I'm going to send around here. And, you know, it was really very close that, you know, I was going to be the only woman on this council. And Marjorie came along, and she's been a breath of fresh air for me. I love her sensitivity and her, she's right on par with people's feelings, with being strong, and it's just been a pleasure, and I feel I have a friendship for life. So
Absolutely.
thank you.
Thank you, Val.
So now I've got, okay, this is kind of a fun one. Grace, I have something for you. So on September 12th, 2023, we had the toughest meeting ever. It was the meeting where we had one person who was speaking about me, about Dogtown. Things were not true. I wanted to develop it, whatever, and I had to sit there and listen. And then it went on to other issues with the paras and the teachers, and it got ugly because there were some videos that were sent out on TikTok about me when Councilor Nolan was whispering something to me about listening to all these people because it was on the agenda. And it was a pretty bad night. And then we had two more people on the council that wanted to talk about a problem that they were having with the mayor. So they got out and went to the podium, and I was absolutely dumbfounded. And Grace was the city clerk that night because Joanne wasn't there. And Grace was so helpful. We had to call a recess because I just didn't know where to go with all these things. I was having Bruce Toby calling me, Melissa Cox, everybody is sending me messages like, and it was just, Grace, it was just you that got me out of the zone and put me back in shape. So, so I know that you have a new dog, and I know that you look to me for advice, and my dog's crazy, so I don't know if that's a good thing. But I'm giving you, for Crazy Dog, mini train me treats, because you will always have to keep this council in order, as you do so well. You're a process thinker, and I love working with you. Joanne was a hard act to follow, and you've been just super. So this is for you, your dog, and for the counselors. So you can give us treats when they do something right. And I used to love that you used to give us a time when we were going to be done at the end of the night, and we would all work to it, and it was always quick. To my friend Jason, Jason has done a great job in chairing P&D. I've loved being the vice chair. You run a great ship with Dylan, 3 of us, and but you always tease me because you always want food and you want us to share. And so I've found some gluten-free coconut cashew bites for you. And I also have some sea salt pistachios, gluten-free, and these are sharing size. And I know sharing is very important. And I love
for
working
snacks.
with you. Yes, snacks, sharing snacks.
Scooby snacks.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Val.
No, I just.
All right.
It had nothing to do with you.
So if anyone's seen my post that I just put up about the perfect storm and what's coming up ahead of us right now in Massachusetts for challenges in the next year's budget. So I have presents for the 3 members of BNF right now. You're each going to get $1 billion in chocolate Russell Stover notes. So I'd like to pass this down to Tony, and then I'd like to pass this down to Jeff, and I'd like to pass this down to the chair, Scott Memard, who's done a great job, all of you on BNF. So thank you.
Thank you, Val.
Great.
Now I've got a little present, a quick present.
There's a gold ticket.
That I found this today. I wanted to give Frank officially the traffic studies for speed studies for Riverview 2017, Gee Ave 2017, and Leonard Street 2018. I'm officially passing those off to you.
Thank you very much.
No sharing.
Now, so on either side of me, I love having sat in between Frank and Dylan for the last 2 years. And when we're getting a little bit nudgy from time to time, what we always do is they look to me to pass out lifesavers or anything to just keep it busy. Sean's got one. So,
Pretty good.
you know, Dylan. So Dylan, when I first got to know Dylan, he was about 14 years old. He was supporting, no, he was supporting me running for school committee.
He was really green behind the ears then.
He was supporting me running for school committee, and he was helping me with signs and my election. And then I'll never forget, we had a celebration party when I won, and he came to my house and he brought me a beautiful bouquet of flowers, and it's like I just melted. He was, and to see him grow and to see him sitting next to me now at the dais, I have totally enjoyed you, Dylan, and I know we'll continue to be close, but here's, you can choose first. Do you want the blue ones or the green ones?
I like the green.
Okay, so Frank, you've been a trooper. It was because of you that when you moved into Ward 4, that I thought, you know, this is a good time to for me to run for at large, which I did, and love working with you, love watching you with your kids, love your wife, the juggling that you do as a great parent. You're just an inspiration to so many people, and I feel like we've really enjoyed working together. These are for you. You can have them. There are 60 of them, so they should last for about a year. And then I've got
For one meeting.
Hold on. And then I've got the 3 beautiful kids.
Oh, geez.
Oh, you've gotten so many gifts.
It's a
With
clause.
some Christmas, and it's mostly candy. But there's
Oh,
also
I do.
there's a little book. It's called The Wheels on the Bus.
Go round and
And,
round.
yeah, and you can sing it and have fun with them and keep bringing them to events. I love seeing them. They're terrific. They were at the cleanup that we had at Goose Cove Reservoir last week, and I just love them dearly. Okay, now I'm getting to the to the ones that are a little bit more serious. Scott, okay. So, a long time, 10 years. We knew each other before that. I used to compete with his wife, Martha, in swimming and tennis growing up at the beach club. And Martha used to always beat me, which really would piss me off. But Scott has been a great friend. One of the things that he did, which was so sweet, was when we were doing Zoom meetings, he went out and he bought me one of these Zoom ring lights because he thought that I was looking too dark on the Zoom calls. And we had meetings back then of like 100 people, right? And so anyway, so I'm going to send this along to you because I honestly never opened it. And so I think you might have a chance, but it really made me confident and appreciative that you cared that much to help me get through those awful Zoom meetings. And just and the other thing that, what did you say, Tony?
And you noticed how bright she was.
And then the other thing that I have for you, Scott, is a book on Eastern birds. This is my book. And there's a whole page on piping plovers, snowy plovers, semi-palmated plovers, Wilson's plovers, black-bellied plovers, lesser golden plovers. And we always learn that plover rhymes with lovers. You always say it correctly. And God love you for all your patience with the plovers. So this is my business card. It's on the page that talks about the plovers. This is your new book. Okay, so.
You and Kim Smith.
It was probably.
I'm getting there.
He's the author of this.
And Jeff, in addition to the money that I gave you, the $1 billion, right?
candy.
I want to just remind you and wish you good luck.
Thank you.
In that, we were the ones that really wanted to get back in person during COVID, and we had to poll everybody, and I appreciate that. And I will also let you know that I was always tested when you had so many questions to ask. And at times, I know I rolled my eyes, but I think the record that you had was at one point you said you had 17 questions, and we had been at the meeting for 3 hours, and perhaps I rolled my eyes. But your questions were always, most of the time they were valid and good, but sometimes if I rolled my eyes, don't take it personally.
I never did, but thank you,
Okay.
Val. Appreciate
Thank you. But
Yep.
thank you for your nice words, and I wish you luck.
Always. You too.
And then, okay, I'm going to go next to Tony. Tony, I am officially passing on to you my book that Joanne had given me from the clerk's office, and it's The Complete Idiot's Guide to Robert's Rules. And I think that you were always a little bit better than me in Robert's Rules, but we always talked about what we should do and what we could do better. And sometimes the gavel doesn't always work, but I appreciate your leadership and your ability to get through the meetings. And so I'm honored to pass this down to you. And then I think I'm almost done, but my last one is my dear friend, Sean Nolan. And, you were one of the first people that I got really close to. And, you supported me from the beginning. We had so much fun together, and we always will. And I will never forget the good work that you did on the betterment policy and how Scott, you and I worked together with Grace, actually, and the clerk's office on all that documentation to help people understand the betterment policy and the website, and working with Michael and Rose. And I think we really did a lot to gain credibility and make sure that we were handling that fairly. So, but here's my side. You taught me a lot about cars. I used to go down early in the morning and just sit there and try to talk between all your customers coming in, and you'd always tell me what type of car they had. And then, of course, my son started going to you with his cars, and you guys could talk cars forever. And the time that I most enjoyed was when you allowed me to sit in one of your antique cars at the Magnolia event. And I felt so important. So thank you for letting me sit in your car and keep up with a good soapbox derby. And I've got you a whole thing of Hot Wheels, so you can enjoy those, play with those. And so just one last thing. I'm not going to go and talk about my 18 years, but there are a couple of people that really, oh no, it was 16. I'm sorry. It's been 18 since I started. I took 2 years off between school committee and city council. But some of the people that really made a difference in my life, Kristen Michelle recruited me. I was on the PTO and I was the secretary, Beeman Plum, with her, and she convinced me to run for school committee. And she's always been a great role model, a great leader, of bringing people together, and she really made a difference. I also want to just mention the work that Jackie Hardy and I did together. I was always her liaison on the school committee, and she was on the city council. We'd always meet at Friendlies. That's what she loved to do. And we'd go through the budget books, and we were partners. And she was a tremendous leader. And when I was a little down, I would go and I'd sit at Lane's Cove and look at the fish shack because she was a big part of that. So she was pretty cool. And other folks that really became part of my life, Kathy Clancy, I convinced her to run for school committee a long time ago. And Melissa Texera, Kathy, Michelle, Nancy Harrison, Roger Garberg, Carolyn Kirk, and who was the fourth? And me. We together got a pretty nice award at the Hyannis MASC event, and it was a really very important award. They gave us an award saying that we did a lot of great things for the students in the city of Gloucester. So that was pretty cool. But they were just all great friends and great people. And then as I became a city councilor, I just wanted to give a shout out to Melissa Cox for the amount of institutional knowledge that she helped me with. And she also helped me with, we did a lot with getting rid of the plastic bags and straws and a lot of things that really made a difference in the environment. And she was a great colleague. So that's kind of my story. But, everybody here, I'm getting through this without crying, so I'm pretty proud of myself. But I am going to totally miss you all so much. But I'm not going anywhere, and it would be kind of fun for me to get up there. And if Tony gavels me, I'm going to give him this look, but I will always be obedient because I'm very obedient, and I will stop immediately. But I will look forward to being on the other side and watching you all, and I'm not going anywhere. And to all of you, thank you for being you. And I'm going to miss you all.
Yes, it's my turn. So I've only been here for 4 years. Served with Val.
Longer, Tony.
Seems like longer, I know. Well, you knew me from before too, but anyway, Jeff, I always appreciated our lively discussions.
Absolutely. The only person, oh, never mind. What did I say?
I don't know if we ever hung up on each other, probably close.
You threatened it a couple times.
Few choice words.
Couple, yes, I learned a few.
I will miss some of
Couple
those.
metaphors. Me too.
Val served with you for a very long time. Dylan, where were you on my first campaign in 2021? I mean, 2001. 2001, where were you? I knew you then.
I'll have a few comments to share about but you're not leaving, so I'm not gonna. I won't share that, but I will share
I'm a
a few
little
little
put
things once
out.
I come in.
I am a little put out. But it's been an honor and a privilege to serve with both of you. Something I will treasure and remember forever.
Here.
And we have a couple of things to give you guys. So if you would, and you have to open them. Pass that down to Jeff and I'll bring this over to you, Val.
Open them right here.
Personal delivery.
The card first. Jeff, you want to do yours first?
I should proofread it before I read it. Might have some more colorful words in there.
Oh, I think, I think it's pretty tame.
I don't need to read each of them, but each of them are personal messages from each
No.
of the colleagues here. So thank you all very much. I appreciate you.
You have a serious gift and you have a fun gift in there.
Val, don't show us your fun gift. That's
Yes,
private.
you do. You have to.
Do you want to, how do we do this? Just,
Go ahead.
I think it's my birthday or something.
And I wrapped these, by the way.
Did you really? And you did this, Bo?
No, no, I was in
Abby didn't help
Jordan
you?
Marsh one time. No, she can't rap as well as I. I was
I'm
in Jordan Marsh when I was
impressed.
a kid watching them rap,
With my presents for
Yeah.
life.
and I
Wow.
watched them rap, and I said, I got to be able to rap.
I use duct tape for my wrapping. so- Right? I don't want to rip the paper. It's so perfectly done. Yeah, I'm impressed.
That was some of the last paper that we had for the fundraising at Fuller School. That was the best. Was it Esterbrook or something? That was the best wrapping paper.
Like that old rap.
This
Oh,
is,
it's
yeah,
a mug. Favorite city councilor.
no.
Oh.
Right. That was a little fast, Tony.
Hey, well, you know me.
Signed by everybody.
Given in this situation, that was fast.
This is great. This is a Gloucester mug. Gloucester, Massachusetts. It's where my story begins. I love it.
I know you don't drink coffee, but
Thank you for remembering that, but I will,
Cocoa.
you, yeah, and tea and water.
yes.
Yeah, you're supposed to be drinking a lot of water,
You're
so.
right. Thank you very much. And then this one, does Val have the same one that I have here?
No, everybody's got different
This
things.
looks, this,
Just a container.
okay, I thought it was gonna like just be a scroll of some sort.
No.
Perfect. New tie. I could definitely use a new one.
I
Thank you very much.
hope it works.
It will work perfectly.
Got it in the big and tall stores.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
No, it is a regular. I didn't like it at
Thank
all.
you very much, Tony. Appreciate you all.
Thank you for
Very kind of
everything.
you. Thank you.
And thank you from your constituents. Okay, Val.
Got a beautiful card.
I got a little mushy.
I'm going to read this later.
She'll see it.
Thank. Funny one is,
It's a serious one.
should I do the funny one first?
Up to you. They're yours. You can pull the bows. They do undo.
Yeah, pretty. How much do you charge?
For you? I don't know if you can afford me.
Tony, this is the Polish school wrapping paper?
Fuller School, yeah.
Lovely. It's nice and
Beautiful.
thick.
We're almost out of it. So that's you're bestowed an honor
Oh,
there.
if I'm careful, can
I
I save
remember
it?
selling
Yeah.
that when I was at full school, going door to door,
Oh.
like square boxes with wrapped paper in them.
That's cute.
Because you're apparently half Italian.
Be larger than it appears.
Oh my
You see
gosh,
that a lot
this
when
is
you're young.
beautiful. Oh, everybody, this is beautiful.
You can put it over your other one.
Oh, I
law to us. I doubt it.
I did have a good gift consultant.
Oh my God. Marjorie, did you help with that? I
Yes.
love that. That is so beautiful. Totally beautiful.
But I picked it out.
Okay, so.
Another fine wrapping up.
Go ahead.
You can undo the bow.
A hidden talent.
I should hire you to wrap my Christmas presents.
He said he can't afford them.
Everybody in
I haven't,
No?
no,
I mean, I have.
they're going home, their dessert. I haven't eaten supper yet.
I ate them all. I ate my dessert.
I didn't even notice you eating. He did.
Good. I was eating them one after the other. I still have a few more.
Now, because you go to Wingashiek. And Sean says it's overlooking the best ward in the city.
But it's the best beaches.
But yeah, that's a silhouette of Wingashiek.
spot to make.
Put it with all your other cups, and then when you dust it off in 10 years, oh! When you have a bunch of company over. and you get
Anyway,
that.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Stop.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Oh, Council, how about,
Oh.
how about Councilor Gilman?
Oh,
No, I will, was I the only one to not go?
Oh, I didn't get to say
oh,
anything nice.
I'm sorry.
You got it in first.
I thought I said that you did too.
No, I didn't.
Request
I
made.
didn't know we were doing the nice things first.
Oh.
No, and I didn't even get to go, but,
Go ahead, Councilman.
no, of course. First off, I will, thank Mayor Verga for all of his years of service to the city. I've known him for quite a long time, and he's been a great mentor of mine since being elected. And I also speak to Scott. He's done a lot for my ward, answering every call, trying to address the problems of my constituents. And I want to just thank him for all that he's done for this city. He's a good man. To Val, I've known you for a very long time, and I was going to share the flowers story, but you shared it. But you have given so much to this city, from the school committee time to the city council to helping our seniors to what you're continuing to do with the Essex Tech, which is an incredible institution that provides great path for success for so many people. And if this wasn't there, who knows? It's been a pleasure to be sitting next to you for these past 2 years and have helped mentor me from day one and just telling how things go and everything. It's been a real pleasure working with you. And I didn't think when I was 14 that I would be sitting up here next to you. And it has been an honor. I'm very sad that you're not going to be here because you have just been a real treasure. And I'm very, I'm good. You are going to be missed by me, and you're going to be missed by the city. We're losing a lot of institutional knowledge, someone who has dedicated so much to this city and to the students. And as someone who struggled with learning disability in that age and during that time, and telling me just keep going, and through getting a GED and then keep going. And throughout the times, even though we weren't always in touch, just pushing every time for success. And I really appreciated that. And it's been a treasure to be next to you and to care so much about the things that we care about, especially our seniors and everyone. And it's been such a pleasure. And to Councillor Worthley, thank you for all that you've done for the city. You have dedicated so much and for so long. You came back after so long. And being here only one term, I wonder, why did you come back? But because you love Gloucester. Whether we always agreed up here, I knew every day that you cared about our city. And I know that you one of the time we talked about it several times, the time that my dad talked about a pothole that needed to be filled. I think maybe, I don't even know how old I was, but you say that story all the time about how, and then he called you back to thank you for it, and you didn't reach back. And then you're like, it's always important to reach back into the constituents. And I learned that from you when there was an issue with a dumpster being maintained all hours of the night. I think the first couple of months of being a city councilor. And then the constituent, we got it fixed. And then the constituent, I called the constituent and said, hey, how is this problem? So I learned that from you, from that own experience that you had with my father. I just want to thank you and good luck with everything as well. And I know good luck also as your kids are preparing for college as well. So it's going to be quite a bit. But thank you again for all your service. And also, I just would say is at the beginning, we gave a moment of silence to Representative Ann Margaret Ferrante. And I was incredibly moved by that funeral. It was the people that were attendants, the governor, the former governor, over 100 state reps from all over the Commonwealth coming here. She is going to be missed, a legacy that cannot be replaced. She's irreplaceable. And she will be forever remembered, and her legacy will forever be etched in all the work that she did, including the programs that she's been able to bring, and so much. Actually, it's interesting because my partner works at Dana-Farber in cancer, and we were talking about Ann Margaret as well, and then we were talking also about the program that she got, the GI program with our students, and a professor that's at Dana-Farber was instrumental in that program. So it's the impact that she's had there and had in this community is so extraordinary. But I want to thank you both, and to Mayor Verga as well. All of you, your mentorship means a lot. And yes, Tony, I did remember helping your campaign in 2001. How old was I then? But anyway, you both will be missed. And I know you both will be calling me and texting me and telling me, what do you do? If I'm doing something good, you'll be saying thumbs up. And if I'm not doing something, I know you both will tell me. So again, thank you so much.
How you doing? Sorry, I forgot you.
You usually do. I'm just kidding.
Councilor Grow,
I
you're
just want,
unforgettable.
I just want to thank everybody for their brevity.
Hey, I was short.
Councilor Worthley, I know that we have butted heads on one or two occasions, but I admire your passion. And I think that's probably why we butted heads. We both have that passion, but anybody who steps up to this office deserves respect. And I do respect that. And I do respect the fact that you have endeavored to serve your constituents with great enthusiasm. So thank you for that. Val, I didn't even know you were going. I'm sorry. So I would have prepared something. We've become fast friends, and I appreciate everything about you and your willingness. You are just honest. You just care the frick out of this town, and it's evident all the time. You are passionate, you're zealous, you're enthusiastic, a little enthusiastic about things. I can't hear the word mutt mitts without thinking about you. So just know that we have become very good friends, and I'm going to be sorry to lose your phone number, but best of luck to you. I'm sure we'll see you again sometime. All right. And thanks for the cookies.
And I did neglect to thank Mayor Verga. It's been a great experience serving with him. Served with him in the school committee eons ago. And it was a great pleasure serving with him again. I hope he takes a well-deserved rest and then tackles the next great adventure for himself. And I will also miss seeing Kelly around. I hope we still get to see them both.
Especially Kelly.
Especially Kelly.
He's done a lot for the city as well.
Maybe
so.
appropriate for Council Gilman to give the last motion to adjourn, and maybe I could second it.
Oh, Go right ahead.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Gilman, seconded by Counselor Worthley. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay, I don't want to go home.
Ayes have it, 9-0.